Good morning, MPC. Welcome sa ating weekly economic briefing. Today we have Assistant Secretary Tony Lambino to introduce our guests for today.
Maraming salamat, Yusek Rocky. Magandang umaga sa lahat at welcome po sa ating weekly economic press briefing co-hosted by the Economic Development Cluster and PCOO. Bukas ay isang taon na mula nang simulan ang pagpapatupad ng Republic Act 11203 o ang Rice Tariffication Law na nilagdaan ni Pangulong Duterte noong February 14, 2019. Pinalitan ng batas na ito ng isang purong tariff system ang dating pagpapataw ng quantitative restriction na naglimita sa pag-angkat ng bigas at nagbigay pabor sa iilan lamang. Kung ang retail price bago mag-tarify ng bigas ay higit 40 pesos per kilo at mas mababa sa 20 pesos ang farm gate price, alam po nating lahat na hindi ang magsasaka ang nakinabang sa price difference na higit 20 pesos per kilo. Ngayon, ang nakokolektang taripa ay nakalaan ng buo para sa ating mga magsasaka. Napupunta ang nalilikom na taripa sa Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund o RCEF at nakalaan taon-taon ang halagang 10 bilyong piso, 10 bilyong piso para sa iba't ibang programa sa ilalim ng RCEF. Malaking tulong ang RCEF sa pagpapataas ng ani at kita, ika nga ni Secretary Manong Willie, ng ating mga magsasaka sa pamamagitan ng una, mechanization, pangalawa, pamamahagi ng high-quality seeds, pangatlo, credit assistance, at pang-apat, training at extension services. Kasing halaga nito ay ang tuloy-tuloy na pagbaba ng presyo ng bigas dulot ng RTL. Malaking tulong para sa higit 100 milyong Pilipino, lalo na para sa mga mahihirap nating kababayan. Sa kasalukuyan, naitala ng Philippine Statistics Authority na bumaba ang presyo ng bigas ng higit 9 pesos per kilo kumpara sa peak price noong September 2018. Sa taong 2019 ay nakalikom tayo ng 12.3 billion pesos mula sa 2.03 million metric tons ng rice imports sa ilalim ng RTL. Ngayong taon naman, 1.7 billion pesos ang nalikom na taripa sa bigas as of February 14, 2020. Alamin kung paano pa nakinabang ang magsasaka at pamilyang Pilipino sa unang taon ng implementasyon ng Rice Tariffication Law. Makakasama natin para sa updates sina Agriculture Secretary William D. Dar, Trade and Industry Secretary Ramon M. Lopez, at National Economic and Development Authority Assistant Secretary Mercy Sombilla. Umpisa po tayo kay Secretary Dar.
Maraming salamat, Asek Tony, Yusek Rocky, Asek Noel. Of course, our good partner here, DTI Secretary Mon Lopez, Assistant Secretary Mercy Sombilla of NEDA. Good morning sa lahat po dito sa ating talakayan sa tungkol po sa first year implementation ng Rice Tariffication Law. Let me just make a brief statement and we'll be open later on for questions. President Rodrigo Duterte's signing of the Rice Tariffication Law is an unprecedented development for Philippine agriculture. We recognize the legislative support of Senator Cynthia Villar and Mark Inverga of the House of Representatives in really crafting this important piece of legislation. The Rice Tariffication Law created the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund, 10 billion pesos a year to help enhance farmers' productivity and competitiveness through mechanization, seed distribution, credit, and extension services. The Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund programs on full swing since October 2019 through number one, dun sa seeds through DA, Philippine Rice Research Institute, with the assistance of the Bureau of Plant Industry. PhilRice has distributed 1.25 million bags of certified seeds to 709 municipalities, covering 491,756 beneficiaries, tilling 619,079 hectares of rice farms, and they also established technology demonstration sites for 2020 dry season, and yes, it's ongoing. On mechanization, through the efforts of PhilMec, which is mandated to manage the distribution of machineries, farm machineries, they have validated 944 farmers cooperatives and associations who will be receiving the machineries during this month of March. They are currently validating the FCAs. When we say FCAs, this is farmers cooperatives and or associations. So presently validating FCA recipients for year 2. On extension, through the efforts of the Agricultural Training Institute and TESDA, we have enlisted 299 farm schools as technical partners, completed 7 batches of training for specialists, and completed 76 batches of training of trainers, and as well completed 19 batches of training for farmers, and conducted 245 technical briefings, and distributed 289,000 communication materials. Now, we also have 14,595 scholars under this program. Now, on credit, through the ACPC, we have Land Bank, through Land Bank have released 459.6 million pesos to 2,469 farmers and 19 cooperatives. And through DBP, they have distributed 500 million. Have given out credit facility in the amount of 500 million. Now, thank you to the Department of Finance under the leadership of Secretary Carlos Dominguez, of course NEDA, our partner in terms of development planning, the Department of Trade and Industry, the Department of Budget and Management, for all this team effort in enhancing the implementation of the Rice Tariffication Law. We also thank our co-implementers, Land Bank, DBP, TESDA, and all the local government units. We are in touch base in the distribution of machineries and seeds, for that matter. Now, as an important intervention from government, the national government have also given or are a number of ayuda or help assistance to the rice farmers. We have the rice farmer financial assistance at 3 billion pesos budget. As of February 20, we have distributed 1.4 billion pesos to 279,666 farmers, and looking at 33 provinces, particularly those provinces that have been affected with the falling prices of palay. Early on, within the Department of Agriculture, through the ACPC, Agricultural Credit Policy Council, we launched what we call the Sure Aid program with 2.4 3.4 billion budget for this. And as of February 21, we have now benefited 156,033 rice farmers, meaning they have received the assistance, loan assistance, 15,000 per farmer, zero interest, and payable in 8 years. So again, the whole objective of improving productivity, competitiveness, and profitability will always be our guiding objectives in the implementation of the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. We will also bring in other dimensions like balanced fertilization support, establishing of small-scale irrigation systems, even community farm clinics and service centers. And at this point in time, we are at the final stage of formulating the Philippine rice industry roadmap. And NEDA, ASEC Mercy will mention part of the responsibility about buffer stocking study. And what is a continuing concern is the updating of the Farmers Registry, or RSBSA, which is the master list of farmers, be it rice farmers and others. So another part of this Rice Tariffication Law is the crafting of a crop diversification program. We are almost to start implementing. We just finalized the drafting of this program. And in relation to this, as part of the implementing, or as part of the law, there are 3 uses of the tariffs that are collected beyond 10 billion. So as Tony has mentioned, 2.3 billion is awaiting to be fully accessed, and through the Program Steering Committee of the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund, we are going to request the allocation of 1.3 billion for crop diversification and 1 billion for crop insurance. I have discussed this during the cabinet meeting last Monday, and they have given us the go signal to now fully access this 2.3 billion, again for the very purpose of helping rice farmers increase their levels of productivity, competitiveness, and profitability. There are many other things like streamlining of the NFA continues as part of the Rice Tariffication Law, and they are still apart in terms of buying palay and maintaining buffer stock. And from the 7 billion that they had last year, with their intensified effort rollover scheme, they have bought almost 14 billion pesos worth of palay. So again, we are happy that the first year implementation of the Rice Tariffication Law, much more the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund, and the programs corresponding, as mentioned in the law, are made to now start impacting. I would always call this RCEF as one of the game changers that we can see its impact as we continuously to implement for the next 5 years more. So thank you.
Thank you. Magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. Good morning to our fellow team members, colleagues, Secretary Dar, ASEC Mercy, ASEC Tony, and the team. From the DTI perspective, we are always after the impact on the consumers. As you know very well, even during at the height of the crisis in October 2018, we've been watching closely and trying to help temper and bring down prices of rice prior to the Rice Tariffication Law. And we've been doing a lot of programs with the DA, especially at that time. I remember we asked for some kind of permission from the NFA at that time to allow identified retailers to be able to import and pay the tariff at 35% and sell them directly. Since they are retailers, mabebenta nila diretso po sa kanilang mga supermarket chains, nationwide kaagad ang impact. And I remember at that time we were at while the prices were at 48 pesos pataas, 50 pesos and above even. Ang presyo po ng bigas na ibenta natin sa 38 pesos and below. I was, in a way, looking back, it was like a preview or parang preview po ng Rice Tariffication Law. And of course, the Rice Tariffication Law has a wider impact. Tama po ang assessment din po ni Secretary Dar. I also call it game-changing. Because while we are able to allow freer importation of rice para masiguradong abundant ang supply ng bigas dito po sa atin, mapapanatili pong mababa ang presyo. And with that, we were able to see huge benefit po sa mga consumers. But more than that, this is a law that also benefits yung farmers because, as mentioned, the revenues coming from the tariff payments are being converted directly po para sa mga farmers. At nabanggit po ni Secretary Dar ang maraming program na ngayon ay masasabi rin natin game-changing reforms and assistance to the farmers, much needed because at the end of the day, we are talking about the competitiveness of the farmers. I should very well know, ang supply pa rin ng bigas hindi po imported lahat. Ang karamihan po ay local. I think over 95% pa rin ay local. So it's very important yung competitiveness ng ating farmers will be sustained, will even be improved. At nandun po ang sikreto ng paglago at pagyaman ng ating mga farmers by helping them on productivity, on mechanization, on fertilizers, on seeds, on training, on microfinancing. At yun po ngayon ay naibibigay dahil po sa Rice Tariffication Law, sa revenues na nag-generate out of that. At isa-isa po na Secretary Darion. At yun po yung napaka-importante. Back onto the consumer benefit, when we were being hit by huge prices of oil during the 2018, kasama na rin po ang pagtaas ng presyo ng bigas. Marami hong nagsamantala at nagkaroon din po ng supply issues during that time. Kaya nga ho ang inflation rate natin tumaas sa 6.7% noong October 2018. At that time, ang rice accounted for more than 10% nung inflation rate na yon. So napakalaking naging dahilan ang rice doon sa high inflation. In fact, at that time, kung 6.7 ang total inflation, ang rice po 10.7% ang inflation at that time. But since 1 year after, since na-implement na po yung Rice Tariffication Law early last year, noong October 2019, 1 year after that, October 2018, yung inflation rate na po natin ay naging 0.8%. At ang rice inflation ay talagang napakitang laking binaba, minus 9.7% yung inflation. So parang deflation pa siya kasi po negative 9.7%. And moving into the January 2019, we are able to sustain 2.9% inflation at ang rice inflation or deflation kasi negative 6.5% po ang bigas doon. What we're saying po, pagdating po sa peso equivalent, we mentioned that presyo po before at the height of mga 49, 50 pesos pataas. Well-milled rice, very basic rice. Ang NFA rice din po noon, meron naman pero nagkakakulangan ang NFA rice at that time. So kung 49 pesos yung araw, ngayon po ay nagre-range na po base sa PSA sa 40 pesos, minus 9 pesos po ang binaba per kilo. At lumalabas po kami sa palengke last week, last Friday din po, palengke at sa grocery, tinitingnan, dinadaanan ko po parati ang bigas, rice section. At last week, nakita ko po ang range even in the Mega Q-Mart, I think, Mega or NEPA, the former NEPA Q-Mart. Nakakita po rin tayo doon ng mga 34 to 36 pesos per kilo. And dun po sa pinuntahan ko po last week and last weekend ay meron din pong 38 pesos. At nandun pa rin po yung 34 pesos, pero you have to buy 10 kilos, 340 pesos. 10 kilos, so 34 pesos per kilo na bigas, even sa grocery. So ibig sabihin may option po ang ating pong mga mamamayan sa pagkuha. Available po ang murang bigas. At nandyan po, mas maraming supply din. Ang NFA nagbebenta pa rin ng kanilang 27 pesos at 32 pesos na bigas. Dahil po sila po ay nagre-replenish ng kanilang stocks. They are supposed to keep po yung freshness ng stocks. Kaya yung old stock ay bago maging luma, ay talagang ibebenta na nila para mapalitan na nila yung kanilang ini-impact na stockpiling ng bigas. So yun lang po ang ma-emphasize ko lang ho, malaking naidulot na benepisyo sa consumers sa pamamagitan ng presyo at mas mahalaga po malaking benepisyo sa ating mga magsasaka sa napakaraming program ngayon na ini-implement ng DA. Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Maraming umaga sa ating lahat. Nabanggit nga kanina na bukas ay mag-iisang taon na ang Rice Tariffication Law. When we were talking about this, 1 year ago, ang palagi nating binabanggit ay ang kanyang magiging objectives ng law, which is to make rice accessible and affordable to every Filipino and to make the rice sector competitive. This long overdue reform in the rice sector will positively impact the agriculture sector and the whole economy in the succeeding years. So paano po niya ito nagawa? Some of this were already mentioned by my colleagues here on the table, si Secretary Dar at si Secretary Mon. Pero babanggitin ko pa ulit yung some of the more critical and more significant gains na nangyari dito sa pagtutupad ng batas na ito. Of course, we acknowledge na maraming challenges that have been hurdled and may continue for some time to be hurdled. These challenges were all expected and are being closely monitored, responded to, and effectively managed by the government. The bumps being experienced are relatively huge because RTL applies to rice at alam natin na ang bigas ay talagang isang sektor for which for decades has been heavily protected and subsidized. Kaya medyo mahirap po natin itong baguhin ang sistema sa sektor. Nonetheless, there are significant gains achieved from the implementation of the RTL. Key of this is the access to cheaper rice, which has already been mentioned over and over again. The average retail price of regular milled rice has gone down to 36.33 per kilo in January 2020, which is 4 pesos and 4 cents per kilo lower than in the same month last year. No? To note, this price level has also been the lowest since 2013. 2013, ang average price po natin kasi is 33.70. And then, it continued to increase over time until January 2020, kung saan natin nakikita ulit ang 0.33 per kilo. So, over time, yun po talaga ang pinakabababa. And we will be hoping to see a much lower average retail prices in the near future. The other thing is that we are also observing greater market segmentation in rice as more provinces are now selling at a price range between 24 pesos per kilo to 36 pesos per kilo. This is significantly lower compared to last year's 37 pesos per kilo to 44 pesos per kilo. Clearly, this shows that the law not only made rice cheaper for consumers, but also gave them more options on type of rice they would purchase. The market for specialty and premium rice remains accessible for consumers who prefer the high-quality rice. So nandun pa rin po yun. Di pa rin po nababago yun. With the decline in prices of rice, nabanggit na ni SECMO nito, rice inflation rate has also gone down to negative 6.5%. The headline inflation is 2.9% in January 2020. The low inflation rate is not only beneficial to the consumers, but also to the economy as a whole, as it encourages people to invest or spend, which would then fuel overall growth of the economy. The poorest 20% of the households could now spend more on other food and other commodities while consuming the same amount of rice they have been consuming. Back in September 2019, ito yung isang problema natin noon, the drop in farm gate price was a little bit too fast. Masyadong mabilis po ang pagbaba ng farm gate prices natin ng palay, no? Dropping by 7.1 per kilo or 29% in September 2019 as compared to the farm gate price in the same month of 2018. There are a couple of other factors where this huge drop can be attributed. The major one could be due to the occurrence of typhoons in some of the major producing areas at the peak time of harvests. Soaked rice that could not be dried because of inaccessibility to drying facilities forced farmers to sell their rice at 7 to 8 pesos per kilo. This situation prompted traders to take advantage of the situation, intentionally buying at relatively low price and selling it to a higher price. The more frequent occurrence of El Nino also negatively impact rice production. As of January 2020, the farm gate prices are now relatively higher. So bumabalik na po sa normal, environment for farm gate for the market, domestic rice market. Farm gate price in January 2020 was at 3.90 per kilo lower as compared with the same period in 2019. Talagang yung RTL din po natin is we really expect that all of these prices should really go down para nga mabenefisyuhan lahat, all the consumers, the economy, and at the same time, yung the farmers. And how will it benefit the farmers, no? Nabanggit na sa atin ni Secretary Dar kanina, the way to go to benefit the farmers would be for them to get higher yields. And this is going to be through the use of better quality seeds, higher yielding seeds, and even promoting the production of heirloom rice, which now can be exported and which commands really a high price in the export market. So the continued rolling out of the rice competitiveness, the interventions of the rice competitiveness enhancement fund will indeed, help a measure to really help the farmers lower production, but at the same time increasing their farm incomes. And hopefully also for them to, to diversify into other, sources of income, higher value products that could really, increase further the incomes, farm incomes. So NEDA has always been pushing for key reforms that will make the Filipino staple food accessible and affordable for everyone. And with this, we are enjoining all rice industry stakeholders to work with us during this transition period and in making this law work. Most especially, we encourage our rice farmers to be part of the needed behavioral change and encourage them to learn new technologies, increase their productivity, and become more competitive, as this undertaking will not be successful with the government efforts alone. Once again, a pleasant morning to all of you. And happy birthday, RTL.
Happy birthday, Secretary Lopez. Ay, sino ba? Okay.
RTL.
Kala ko si Secretary Lopez.
Hindi.
MPC question. Raymond Tinasa, Joyce, and then Jillian.
Si RTL pala yun. Kala ko initial eh, no?
Oo pala.
Magandang umaga po. Siguro anyone from our guest. Wala na po tayong debate doon sa pakikinabang talaga ng mga consumers largely doon sa Rice Tariffication Law. Pero yun sa kabilang sektor naman, during to the first year of implication ng Rice Tariffication Law, ay nalugi naman yung mga local rice farmers daw dahil nga sa bumagsak yung farm gate, tapos initially napakalaki ng kanilang puhunan, tapos nabenta nila ng napakababang presyo. So do we expect na by this year or the next coming years, medyo makabawi naman yung mga local farmers na talagang nalugi? We cannot deny that kasi yung mga kababayan ko mismo medyo tinatamad na rin magbenta ng palay, ay magtanim ng palay.
Okay, let me start, and the panel, the team will respond also. Sabi na ni Asek Mercy, this is a transition period. And all things are now indicating that it is going towards that directions. Na okay, yung outcome maganda na sa rice, although there are still improvements na dapat bababa pa yung average price ng rice. But again, to highlight what have been said, ang ganda na, may options na ang namimili ang publiko from 27 as high as 40 or more. Depende na dun sa capacity ng isang namimili. So, and mention has been made about wala nang rice inflation. Wala na, hindi na factor dun sa food inflation. There are other factors now, hindi na rice. So this is such a significant thing to highlight na after 1 year, ay mayroon ng sapat na rice, of course, from two sources, local production, and bringing what is necessary from the outside, ano pa yung kakulangan. Now, number 2, nabanggit din na yung as of end of February, yung average price ng palay ngayon ay tumataas hanggat 16 pesos na. From, if you compare dun sa farm gate price na 19 pesos, farm gate price as benchmark ng government. So, if you compare with yung cost of production na 12 pesos kasi ang cost of producing a kilo palay, ay kung 16, mayroon ka ng 4 pesos kada kilo na ganansya. Pero kung ang isang farmer ay nag-reduce na yung cost of production nila, say to 10 or 8 pesos, sabihin na lang natin 10 pesos, di mayroon na siyang 6 pesos na income per kilo o palay. So, with RCEF already in place, ay talagang tuloy-tuloy na itong little by little, the normalization will happen. So, that question about kailan kaya ay we hope to do much better in terms of implementing RCEF.
Kay Asek, ma'am, ito na, para mas mabilis tayo. Kay Asek Molina, tama? Zumbilya. Sorry.
Ilocano din ito.
Ay, naimbag na bigat po. Anyway, ang gusto lang namin malaman, just to check the facts, baka naman fake news. Kasi sabi kasi ng Federation of Free Farmers, umaabot daw ng 68 billion yung losses ng local farmers from your end, kasi from your research and studies.
Yung computation nila ng 60 billion is based on the figures na, if I am correct, kasi hindi ko pa nabalikan yun, how they computed that. But I think it's based on the farm gate price that was being afforded to farmers at the time na may crisis tayo. Yung sinasabi natin, na umabot ng 24-25 ang farm gate. 20-22 ang 21 ang farm gate price na bili ng trade. But that was a very, very unusual situation. Kasi nga, na-trigger nga ng mga, yung sinasabi nga nilang, wala ngang supply ng bigas when in fact, meron naman. So, that was taken advantage of. And that was also good for the farmers, no? Kasi nga, for a short period of time, they will really be able to. But that should not be that should not be taken as a normal situation. Kasi it was triggered by just, that shortage crisis. That was never a shortage at all, no? That was in 2018. So yun pa rin ang ginagamit yun yata ang ginamit nila pag-compute ng 68 billion na nalugi, no? So I think we should go back more to a normal situation. And it has for so many years, 17 lang talaga yung talagang bilihan. Kung ang mga traders nga pumupunta diretso sa mga farmers, mas mababa nga sa 17. But they were making a lot of money kasi in some areas they were already producing at much lower than the average cost of production, no? So yun, I think that is the angle from which that 68 billion has been, being computed.
Last na lang sa akin. Ay, Secretary Dar, sir, is it strongly advisable now, kung hindi ako miyembro ng RCA, to be now magpamiyembro ng RCA?
FCA
Para
siguro.
makinabang.
FCA siguro,
RCA.
Ruel.
Para makinabang naman ako sa RCEF. Kasi napaginaw yung mga
of
individual.
course, we are encouraging all farmers na hindi pa nakapalista, magpalista na. We are open.
Thank you pa.
Okay, Joyce, then Jillian and Mela.
Sir, going back lang dun sa question ni Raymond na 68 billion losses. And then you mentioned, Secretary Dar, na nasa 1.4 billion yung assistance na binigay natin sa farmers. How will they cope with the situation na 68 billion and then we have assistance na sobrang baba compared to their losses?
And, let's take into account lahat po yung ayuda na binibigay ng gobyerno. No, Sure Aid is nasa 2.5 billion. Ang unconditional cash assistance, yung binibigay ngayon ay 3 billion. Okay, mayroon pang nakalinya this year na ibibigay din na 6 billion. And with RCEF now na 10 billion, ay ang laking tulong po dito sa farmers. Again, I compliment what been mentioned by ASEC Mercy, yung 68 billion na hindi, ang daming factors na i-consider mo ba para we should be talking apples to apples.
Okay, sir. But if you're going to compute yung numbers na binigay po ninyo, roughly that's only more than 20 billion compared.
Hindi naman
still.
sila nalugi na 68 billion.
Mali yung 68
Simple.
nga daw, kasi yung basihan nung high point, masyadong mataas, and it was for a short period of a few months compared po dun sa normal na mga farm gate price.
Okay, so if 68 billion is an incorrect figure, ano po yung, at least from your side, the computation of their losses for the first year of the implementation?
Now, yung mayroon a good number siguro na hindi na nag-income, okay? But it's not the whole farming community na rice farmers kasi mayroon palagi silang income kasi kung ibase mo mas lalo kung yung farmers ay 10 pesos ang cost of producing a kilo palay, then at say 15, 16 mayroon nga 5 to 6 pesos po.
But sir, do we have a figure?
We can give you later, not now.
Okay.
We don't have it here.
And for the second year of implementation, sir, nabanggit nyo na, of course, there are transition kasi, so very difficult ang first year of implementation of the law. Are we expecting still losses in the second year of implementation of the rice tariffication? And by how much at kung gaano kaliit compared to the first year losses?
Now, this time around, itong dry season harvest is coming. Starting later part of March and April. Mas handa po ngayon ang gobyerno. Mayroon tayong yung procurement ng NFA ay with the intensified buying As I've said, they are able to buy 14 billion pesos worth of palay last year, and that can be enhanced again this year. A good number of provincial local government units have now gone into palay buying business. A good number of cooperatives, big ones, are also in palay buying business. So, ang isang pinaka titingnan natin na nandun sa GAA 2020, yung paggamit po ng 31 billion na for piece for rice subsidy kasi nandyan, they were given cash every month. But this time around, if we can use that to buy palay, para bigas na lang ibigay. Undergoing ang discussions with the SWD.
Can we guarantee, sir, on the second year of implementation, there will be no more losses due to the rice tariffication implementation?
Well, ang isang farmer, hindi naman lahat ay ano mo sa gobyerno. Dapat magsipag at mas mataas pa yung ani niya para ipababa rin niya yung cost of production niya. Then that will give him more opportunity in terms of higher income.
Thank you po.
Jillian?
Good morning. Let's say that more farmers will join the RCA in order to benefit the
FCA.
IFCA, sorry po. In order to benefit the RCEF. You think with around 2 million farmers, 10 billion pesos is enough to compensate all these farmers?
Itong 10 billion, let's say 10 billion ay para sa itong allocation sa RCEF. Okay? Meron pang ibang programa ng Department of Agriculture na yung farmers na hindi gumagamit ng inbreds ay mayroon dati na hybrid rice production program. So mayroon din yan, 7 billion pesos. So pag samasamahin mo, malaking investment na ng gobyerno sa rice production.
Just a follow-up. What are the short-term actions, maybe mediation measures that the government can give to farmers who have, experienced some loss due to the RTL last year besides
Yun
the
nga,
RCEF?
tuloy-tuloy po yung unconditional cash transfer under RFFA, ang tawag natin technically. If my recollection is right, we have still 6 billion to give out this year. Plus, nandyan yung 10 billion ulit RCEF. Then the 7 billion sa rice hybrid.
0% credit.
Then 0% credit. Let me emphasize credit. Alam niyo, karamihan po ng ating magsasaka, not only in rice, ay nakautang na karamihan yung produkto nila kasi umuutang sila sa mga traders. At the end of the day, the traders will now dictate the prices. And that's why government is really looking at every opportunity to provide credit facilities na hindi nakagaya dati more than 10%, this time around 0% nga yung binibigay doon sa 1 billion at under RCEF plus other credit facilities na andyan sa amin, transfer namin yung pera to be managed by Land Bank. Almost 5 billion yung available na credit facilities for agriculture na on top of the money of Land Bank also and DBP.
Just a clarification on some figures you mentioned. So 10 billion yan yung sa RCEF po.
Opo.
7 billion for the rice
Hybrid rice program.
And then the 6 billion is
Yung
attributed
unconditional cash
cash
transfer. Yeah.
for the farmers.
For the rice farmers.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, Mela, then Sam, and...
May I add lang, Rocky?
Yes, sir.
Oo, kasi, so I'm not from DA, of course, but madalas natin kasama si DA Sec, kaya natututo na rin ako ng dyan sa rice. And we've seen presentation na yung tamang, masabi natin, tamang business model, yung computation ng production cost ng rice. So maganda ho sigurong makuha din po ninyo yon. Parang ano yung ideal cost structure. At dun po sa examples po ng mga binibigay, makita natin yung ideal cost structure at talagang napupunta ho dapat sa mechanization at sa seeds at saka sa syempre po yung sa pagpapalaki ng palay. However, unfortunately, for several decades, ang talagang naging cost structure po ng pangkaraniwang magsasaka, ang napakalaki po yun dun sa loans, sa financing part. In fact, hindi po dapat yun yung talagang business model. Kung natatandaan ko yung presentation, something like 30% of the cost ay nasa financing, which should not be the case. Dahil lumalaki, pinapautang sila, mahal ang interest, at kaya ho sila ano bang tawag doon, nakalugmok sa kahirapan at nakaasa na dun sa nag-advance ng pera na yon sa kanila. Samantalang kung tama yung business model, in other words, napupunta sa tamang gastos yung kanilang production, yan na sa mga binanggit natin, mechanization, training, yung seeds, etc. Ay mas maganda ang tubo, mas productive pa. At yung utang ay yung zero interest or mababang interest, hindi napupunta sa interest cost yung kanilang production cost. In other words, hindi 30%. Yun ang nagpapamahal ng cost. Such that, so suma total, kung ang ideal production cost, siguro makikwento ni Secdar, whether 8 pesos yan or 7 pesos, dahil sa mataas sa production cost sa ngayon at umaabot ng mga 10 to 12 pesos, kung makorek po yan, at ito na po yung objective nga natin dito sa RCEF, sa mga programa ho ng DA, makokorek yan such that ang talagang production cost maibaba nila below 10 pesos. Yun ho yung critical. Kasi in the long term, sabi nga natin, ang marami pa ring supplier, ang producer ng bigas ay yung local. Kaya ito yung pinapa-improve ang competitiveness and productivity. Adami yung ani nila per hectare at bababa yung production cost nila into an ideally 8 pesos maybe or even lower than that or 6 pesos. So, si Secdar would have their target. So, yun ho, pag yun na correct, yayaman na yung mga farmers.
Tama po. Let me give some more specifics, Yusek Rocky, in relation to what we have been saying. Itong RCEP, over the next 6 years, will really bring to that good business model. Okay, how much is the contribution of mechanization in the reduction of cost? 3 pesos. Okay? Properly done. Okay? How much is the contribution of seeds? This is technology. 1 peso. So, mayroon ka ng 4 na piso, di ba? Then, what about credit? Another peso. So, you now have 5. Now, the last one is extension, skills development, upgrading ng capacities ng farmers, another peso. So, we have potentially 6 pesos. From the 12, magiging 6 pesos na yung cost of production ng a kilo of palay. Now, once that is sustained, and that is the term, that's the objective of RCEF, increasing productivity, lowering the cost, that's being competitive, and thereby increasing the income of the farmers. So yun po, if you are now able to reduce even to 8, ay competitive ka na with Thailand. And because Vietnam produces a kilo palay at 6 pesos per kilo. So yun po, pagtulong-tulungan po natin yan.
Okay. Mela, and then Sam and Aryan.
Hi, ma'am. For ASEC Mercy po, kanina nga sinasabi na bumaba na yung presyo ng bigas sa merkado dahil nga sa RTL. Ma'am, para naman po sa pagdating naman sa mga negosyo, paano po ba ito nakatulong o nakakatulong?
Negosyo in terms of other business well, kasi yung in terms of the terms of the price of rice, yung makakabili na ngayon ang, like for example, my example a while ago, yung poorest 20% households in the income ladder, they can buy now the same amount of rice, kunwari 10 kilos, at kunwari 10 pesos ang bigas, 10 kilos ang binibili nila at 10 pesos. Kung mas mababa ngayon ang presyo ng bigas, magiging 6 pesos or 8 pesos, makakabili na lang, instead of 100 pesos ang binibili nila dun sa 10 kilos na yon, 80 pesos na lang. So yung 20 na yon, pwede na nilang ibili sa ibang klaseng pangangailangan nila. That will already go to the other, other sectors of the economy, no? So that can, fuel, as I've been saying, the growth of other sectors. So that's the beauty of, putting the rice inflation at a very low level. 0.9% kasi ang weight ng ating ang rice prices dun sa ating rate of inflation. Kaya medyo malaki ang kanyang weight. So with lower prices, the same kasi kahit papaano sasabihin mo talagang yan pa rin ang kakainin ng yung mga ating ordinary people, no? And they can buy the same amount of rice at a lower cost. The savings can go already to other commodities.
And follow-up lang po kay Secdar. Sir, to be specific po, kasi nababanggit nga natin yung programs under RCEF. Sa mga magsasaka po ba, paano siya specifically nakakatulong sa mga magsasaka? Ano pong bahagi ng programa na talagang nakakapagpaangat dun sa ating mga magsasaka?
Okay, siguro, another one-day course ito. Increasing productivity is number one, di ba? So the best of technologies that are there, the good agricultural practices, and that's why part of that is the technology, yung seed distribution, inbred seeds, certified seeds ito. At I'll give you a good example para makita ninyo itong mechanization na sinasabi ko, contributing 3 pesos reduction of cost. Seed is 1 peso, 1 peso for credit, 1 peso for extension. So 6 pesos, 12 minus 6, that's already 6 pesos. That's the objective of RCEF, to really reduce to that level so that maging competitive ang ating rice farmers. Now, having said that, marami pa tayong iba't ibang gawain. Yung seed distribution as part of technology is just but one of them. Ang dami pa. Water management, pest management. So, all the good agricultural practices dapat turuan yung knowledge and skills of the farmers. Integrated yun. Nagko-converge pag nag-extension ka, yung knowledge and skills of the farmers will be there. Now, even demonstrating, kasi kasama palagi, ipapakita mo sa mga farmers, mga in a big way, 20, 50 hectares, ito yung resulta pag ginawa mo tama. Now, one example of a good business model, yung partnership between the big business and the small farmers. Nangyayari ngayon sa Alang-Alang Leyte. Because I am very happy to mention this kasi ito yung gusto namin na business model to cultivate or nurture over the medium to long term. Okay, after Typhoon Yungan, mayroon isang couple, Renusi, Patrick Renusi and Rachel Tan, who is a Filipina. Nag-invest sila, binenta nila lahat yung ari-arian nila, Paris, Hong Kong. Nagneto sila ng 1 billion pesos. Ininvest nila now to presently the best rice processing facility in Southeast Asia because they brought in modern equipment here and there. Ganda. Kahit they are dealing with palay, wala kang makita na palay kahit isang grain dun sa mga floor. It's modern. And they were partnering and are partnering with almost 1,000 rice farmers around their facility in Alang-Alang, Leyte. What are the facts? Before the partnership, the cost of production per kilo palay in that area, rice farmers, was 19 pesos. Now, after partnership, ang ganda, na-reduce na to 6 pesos. From 19, naging 6 pesos lang. With all what I have been saying, good agricultural practices, good water management, pest management, leveling of the land, all this can contribute. So, what was the yield of rice prior to partnership? They were only having 2.5 metric tons per hectare. Now, after partnership, during this partnership, what's the tonnage per hectare? 7 metric tons per hectare. And using inbred rice. Now, what about income? Ang income ng farmers then was only 30,000-40,000 per year. Now, what about now? Because they can now go second cropping, even three croppings. But average, ang income now ng isang farmer ay 120,000. Not triple or 2.5 times more. And that's what we wanted. Over the next 5 years, we want the rice farmers, not only rice farmer, but all farmers and fishers to double their income from, a very low level to doubling. So, ang farm family income today is 100,000 per farm family, yearly income. Gusto natin magiging 200,000 in 5 years' time.
Okay, last na lang po kay Secretary Lopez. Sir, when it comes to price monitoring lang po, paano natin, hi sir, paano natin natitiyak? Ano po yung mga hakbang natin para naman masiguro na yung consumers ramdam talaga tong low prices ng bigas?
We are doing price monitoring dahil po DA products ito, rice, and parang recently nagdagdag pa ng ibang produkto with SRP. We're doing this with the DA. So every time lumalabas po yung ating price monitoring team, na everyday po yan lumalabas, we coordinate with the DA team, and now with the DILG also, dahil ka-partner na rin natin ang mga palengke, market masters na under LGUs, ay sabay-sabay natin tinitingnan itong mga critical items. At we report yung mga resulta doon. Pag may mga nagpa-violate, ay yun po yung ini-issuehan natin ng mga notice of violation. At binibigyan ng 2 araw mag-explain at pagka hindi magandang explanation or ayaw palitan, hindi ayaw pa rin sumunod kung may SRP produkto, ay yun ang fina-file ng charges. So basically interagency team din ito, whole of government approach din natin ito para masiguro at to apply pressure din sa baba sa merkado sa pagsunod ng mga SRPs. Pero ngayon, even without, like sa bigas nga po, nakikita na natin yung range ng 34 to 38 only because maganda yung Rice Tariffication Law, talagang dumami yung supply. At alam naman po natin, talagang basic supply and demand principle ang nag-iiral sa mga palengke. Talagang kung ano yung dami ng sinupply at yung presyong binigay doon, yun ang nagiging presyuhan sa loob ng palengke. Very critical po yun.
Okay, thank you. Arian, Sam, then Chona and Salarina.
Kay ASEC lang po. Ma'am, yung 36.53 pesos na minention nyo po kanina, does that meet government's expectations sa drop ng rice prices?
Yeah, actually, oo. Yun ang talaga namin noon. Ang sinasabi pa nga namin noon, mga 37 eh. Pero it's now even, dropping at a lower price. And
So it exceeded pa po?
It exceeded pa, oo.
Okay.
And we hope that it will still, go a little bit lower para mas marami pa rin makikinabang.
Okay po. And then ma'am, can you just respond to this? Yung Federation of Free Farmers po, di ba sabi nyo kanina 2018 was an abnormal year, so hindi siya dapat i-consider with the But they're saying that even compared with 2016 and 2017, yung prevailing rice prices ngayon ay parang pumapantay lang at the same time na nung meron pa tayong rice imports, nung may restrictions pa, quantitative restrictions. How will you respond to this? So asan daw po yung epekto nung Rice Tariffication Law?
2016, 2017 na farm gate prices are at the level of about 17, 18. Yun sinasabi ko, for the longest time talaga, naglalaro yung farm gate price between 14 pesos to 18 pesos. Pumalo lang siya ng malaki ng 28, 21 noong time na yon. And yun na ang ginagamit nila ngayon na pang-compute ng kanilang losses, which is not actually supposed to be the case kasi nga abnormal year na yon.
So you're denying po yung claim nila na it's still the same as the prevailing prices during 2016 and 2017?
If you look 2017, 2018 gaya ng sinabi ko na ang ating retail prices was averaging 38 pesos yata 2017, 2018. Ngayon pumalo na tayo ng 36. So nandun na yung trend pababa na. Gaya ng sinabi ko, the lowest one that we saw was in 2013 which was 33.70, no? Ito na ngayon ang pinakamababa after 6 years, 7 years,
6
something
years.
like that. So hopefully talagang pababa pa rin tayo if yung RCEF, yung intervention ng RCEF to increase more of production, lower rice production cost, and yung magandang pag-angkat natin ng bigas, we are hoping that the retail prices of rice will still further go down.
Ma'am, last question na lang po. By how much do you expect rice prices to go down for this year, for 2020 po?
2020, okay.
From 36.53, how much further can it go down pa po?
Well, it depends on how, all of these things will work out. No? But we are hoping that it could still go down to 34, 35
34,
this year. But there are so many factors that will get into that, no? Including how the world market, will also be, evolving, in the coming years, in the coming months.
Opo, with the may global virus scare and yan pa rin po yung target natin. 34 to 35
hindi naman
pesos.
hindi naman naapektuhan. Maliban nga lang kung meron talagang magiging malaking crisis sa Vietnam, Thailand, where our major imports of rice are coming from, which I don't see in the near future.
Thank you po.
Okay, Sam, and then Chona or Celerina, and then Trisha.
Ay, kay Ma'am, lang po. Kay Ma'am Mercy po. Ma'am, meron po ba napansin ng NEDA na parang impact po yung implementation ng Rice Tariffication Law pagdating po sa number of farmers? Compared to last year, may napansin po ba kaya kung bumaba yung number of farmers this year?
Wala pa naman. Wala pa naman. Based on yung extension, mga tulong na inaano na ngayon ng RCEF, ganun pa rin naman ang mga farmers. Wala pa naman kaming nakikitang nag-withdraw sa rice. Okay? Masaya kami pag kami mag-withdraw at pupunta sa ibang high-value crops. Kasi we are really encouraging sana na sila ay, especially those that are not really competitive in rice production, we really try to encourage. And if you look at the RTL, meron talagang portion yan that will encourage really farmers that are really not competitive in rice production to, to go into, high value crops. Baka doon sila talaga kikita.
Sa ngayon po, ma'am, ilan po yung mga farmers po, yung mga rice
Wala
farmers
pa kaming
natin?
nakikita.
Hindi, ilan po yung parang sa statistics? Ilan po yung
2 million?
What's the question again?
Rice farmers daw.
number of rice farmers
Number
po?
of rice farmers.
That 2 million, 2.1 million. Yeah.
I-inquire ko lang po kay Secretary Dar, bakit po dun sa mga beneficiary ng Rice Farmer Financial Assistance, ang target beneficiary lang po is 597,404?
Kasi po yun ang available na pera ng gobyerno, 3 billion, and only in 33 provinces where we had this study na ito yung pinaka-apektado ng mga probinsya.
For this year po, yung 500,000 po yun po yung target natin for this year alone.
We are again having a relook so that alam ninyo yan, you also have to incentivize kung saan yung mga probinsya din na where provincial governments did come and participate in the buying of palay, dapat may insentibo rin sila. Ganun po iba-balance natin.
Bali sir, yung total budget po natin for this year, magkano po? Yung para dun sa RFFA?
Well, I said mayroon, kung ito para lang klaro, last year kasi mayroon itong binibigay natin na RFFA ngayon na 3 billion ay galing dun sa national government na outside the tariff. So 6 billion ang inapruba ng kabinete last year. Now, we are now implementing half of that. And in the GAA, yung General Appropriations Act this year, meron nakalaan doon na 3 billion. So kung hindi pa nagamit yung 3 billion last year, out of the 6 billion na aprobado na, so we are looking at 6 billion pesos for farmers assistance, financial assistance.
Tapos, last question na lang po. Yung pong nabanggit po nila na isa sa pinakamalaking factor for the reduction po ng production cost, yung mechanization. So far po, ang nakalagay po dito sa report po nila kanina na parang hindi pa siya nai-implement, na parang nire-review pa rin yung mga possible beneficiaries.
Well, now, by this time, tapos na yon at ibinalik na po, na-release lang ngayong linggo na ito, yung 5 billion out of the 2019. So, nandyan na. And they will now finalize yung procurement using that 5 billion so that within March, ma-distribute na po itong 5 billion for mechanization.
Okay, thank you. Some last three on RTL, Chona, Celerina, and then Tricia. And then with your permission, gusto daw po mag-other matters ng MPC. Celerina or Chona?
Kay Secretary Dar, sir, you mentioned a while ago na we have the best facilities sa palay in Alang-Alang, Leyte. I am from that area, sir, and with due respect, may mga friends ako na farmers, nagrereklamo sila kasi the more na nabaon sila sa utang, although binibigyan sila ng assistance nung, you're referring to Chinese, sir, di ba? Nababaon sila sa utang kasi at the end of the day, pagdating ng harvest season, wala na silang choice kundi ibenta sa kanila yung product at sumunod sa price na ini-indicate nila.
I will validate that because I have gone and visited this, and there are the records to show that they are progressing. So yes, there will always be two sides of the coin.
And also, sir, you said na yung sa rice tariffication, it will take 6 years bago makita talaga yung effect nito.
Hindi po yun ang sinabi ko. We have 6 years to implement RCEF. And that will be the day, you will see the day na the best is yet to come for rice farmers. Sabi yan ni Secretary Mon.
So magtitiis muna, sir, yung farmers for 6 years?
Hindi magtiis. Every year, para you are bringing... na hindi po gano'n. We are not saying na magtiis ka. That's why nandito ang gobyerno, starting last year, at even previously, tumutulong na ang gobyerno. Mabuti nga, mayroon 10 billion dagdag ng gobyerno para magiging mas mataas ang ani, mas competitive sila, mas mataas ang income nila. So, ganun po.
Nag-improve na yan.
Yes.
So, the best is yet to come.
Okay, Celerina?
Good morning po. I'm just wondering, since the implementation of this new law, meron na bang mga lands na parang yung mga owners ay they decided to just sell the lands and convert it into like a residential or commercial kasi nga hindi na competitive?
Wala pa kaming mga reports na ganun na actual. Ipapa-monitor ko ito. Lahat yan i-re-record po namin kung mayroon.
Pero did you try like to investigate or to check kung meron or nga?
Haka-haka lang yun.
Pero wala pang effort sa government to check?
As I've said, we will properly monitor kasi aayuda rin tayo doon. Crop diversification program ay tutulong natin.
No, sir, halimbawa, yun nga, i-convert not as another para sa other
Alam mo,
product.
ang land conversion ay it will take a good process to convert.
Yes, it will have to undergo some legal.
Matagal yun, so wala pa.
So far, wala pang nag-apply. Okay, thank you.
Okay, last on RTL, Tricia.
Hi, sir. Hi, Secretary. Good morning. Sir, how are you bridging the gap between the technologies, the innovations that we're introducing with the capacity of our farmers, just to make sure, sir, na lahat talaga ma-reach or inclusive to among all farmers and hindi magti-take advantage yung
Tama
traders
po.
natin?
That's why mayroon isang component, extension services. At so mayroon tayong a cadre of experts, trainers, at continuous po yung skills development, mga training. Kasama natin ang TESDA dito. This is one way. So techno demonstration is another way, showcasing ano yung good agricultural practices. Yon, in key areas, strategic areas, hindi lang 1 hectare ang demonstration. Ngayon ay a minimum of 20 hectares para makita ng madla, publiko. So, again, yes, our rice farmers, in general, farmers are aging. 60 years old average. So, another 5 to 8 years ay magre-retire na po sila. And that's why we have new programs to entice, engage the younger generation to go back to farming and agribusiness. Marami pong umpisahan na programa panghikayat sa mga millennials.
Okay, Trisha. Okay. Okay, thank you. With your permission, secretaries and
Meron
ASEC,
pa
may other
nag-request.
issue po si Ian Cruz.
Gusto ko lang banggiting, Yusek Kraki, ang rice inventory natin as of end of February, both locally produced and yung galing sa labas, at nandun sa 3 categories, NFA, household, and commercial, ay nasa around 80 days ang rice inventory. So 80, good for 80 days, at harvest na rin itong later part of March and April karamihan. So hindi tayo mabahala na walang supply ng bigas.
Ian Cruz, to be followed by Tuesday and then Arian.
Apo. With your permission po, Secretary, ibang topic na po ito. Tungkol naman po ito dun sa oversupply.
Kala ko rice lang.
Sa oversupply po ng gulay, may na-interview po yung mga kasama namin sa Benguet. Like yung repolyo, 4 pesos ang farm gate niya. Pag dumating naman dito sa Metro Manila, nasa 40 to 60 yung bentahan. Pero ang pinakakawawa po dun yung mga farmer natin, dahil nagkakasabay-sabay at nagkakapare-pareho sila ng mga tanim doon sa Benguet, may magagawa daw po ba tayo para matulungan po yung mga farmer?
We are looking at this not only a temporary solution but a long-term solution. Ito kasi ang problema ng ating mga farmers, yung gaya-gaya, okay? Pag magandang harvest at income mo this year, the rest will come and follow you. So, we in the DA, we are elevating our game in terms of monitoring ano yung mga nakatanim dito sa iba't ibang probinsya. Para sa ganon, right away, alam namin yung volume ng production na iba't ibang commodities at i-link na sa merkado. So yun po ang we will improve our responsibility in that area. Number 2, in the shorter thing, kagaya ngayon, yung Benguet farmers, pinamobilize ko na ang regional field office, tutulong na sila at may kadiwa centers tayo na dito sa Metro Manila in tandem with the local government units para diretso na po yung mga farmers na yan produce ng Benguet and other areas dito sa Kadiwa areas, hindi na doon sa merkado papatungan pa ng mga iba. So ganun po, Kadiwa is our response, and we are also working with new players dito sa cold chain, value cold chain. We have met with them, and there are new players in terms of yung kagaya ng, just to mention one para you have a good understanding. Yung Air 21 is a logistics company. They bring goods to the countryside every now and then. Now, when they come back, they're empty. So, ang backload dapat nila ngayon ay mga prutas at vegetables. At ito na nga gagawin po na nila. And they will start buying now. And properly pack it in those trading centers sa mga probinsya, kagaya sa Bamban, Nueva Vizcaya, mayroon trading center doon, Nueva Vizcaya Agricultural Trading Center. So they have established a facility there to package and pack properly yung mga fruits and vegetables to be, alam niyo, they're also building itong mobile buses, a supermarket nila, moving around Metro Manila. We will launch that sometime April. So ang ganda po, we are not just mentioning this now, not until we are ready to mention. But now you have asked it, pinapaigting po natin yung kadiwa system dito sa Metro Manila and other metro cities.
Secretary, ano kayang relief na pwede nating ibigay dun sa mga farmers?
On that one lang, Vic, we can also offer yung mga programa natin with the supermarkets sector, no? Numpisahan din natin dati. Ngayong may mga ganyang situation, we can offer, because we talked to some supermarkets last week. Sabi nila, they're talking also, gusto nilang malink din sa mga farmers para diretsong madala sa mga stores mismo nila, so retailer na kaagad at wala ng trader at maging bagsakan din sila itong mga supermarkets na kausap natin. So as on top of the kadiwa, tulong-tulong po yan.
Dagdag lang, kasi kumpletuhin ko na istorya. Another investment na gagawin po natin doon sa mga big trading centers like in Benguet, La Trinidad, in Bamban, Nueva Vizcaya, magse-set up tayo ng processing center. Para yung sobrang marami talaga, then you process this. Kimchi, why not? Filipino kimchi.
Pero sir, yung temporary relief natin doon sa mga farmers na while wala pa itong mga proyekto natin na malalaki, anong pwede nating ibigay sa kanila?
Mayroon po silang ayuda na ibibigay. We will instruct again the regional field units ng DA na tutulungan itong mga may problema ng mga farmers. So kagaya ng mga buto siguro, pwede namin ibigay.
Sa NED, kay ASEC Mercy or kay ASEC Lambino, yung POGO po, may mga sinasabi na may mga reports na tungkol doon sa pumapasok na mga dirty money. Malaki po ba epekto na nito sa ekonomiya natin? And yung POGO po ba, pwede na natin silang i-let go? Kasi hindi po ba lumalabas din sa investigasyon na hindi naman sila nagbabayad ng taxes? Ang mga empleyado naman nila ay mainly hindi naman mga Pilipino. Ano po ang opinion ng NEDA dito? Dahil gusto rin po ng mga senador na wala na rin ng POGO dito sa Pilipinas.
Siguro si ASEC Tony na lang sasagot niyan.
Salamat po sa tanong. Pagdating po sa POGO, binuo na po ni Secretary Dominguez ang POGO Task Force, no? As of last year pa yan. At inupisa na pong habulin yung mga hindi nagbabayad ng tamang buwis. Both in terms of the franchise taxes na may sinara nga recently, no, yung synchronicity. Dahil sa 114 million pesos worth of franchise taxes na hindi binayaran. At marami na rin pong isinara ng mga POGO service providers. Yung synchronicity kasi POGO operator talaga yon, no? And then before that, there had been several service providers na sinara rin dahil po hindi nag-remit ng tamang withholding tax, no? In fact, the first one that was closed owed 1.3 billion. And within 2 days, nagbayad na po with post-dated checks, no? With the first payment at 250 million, paid over 3 months. No? So nakikita po natin na marami talagang pera dito sa mga enterprises na ito. So in terms of the taxes due, matagal na pong inumpisahan ang habol dito sa mga businesses na ito na hindi nagbabayad ng tamang buwis. At nag-uusap-usap na po ang interagency task force sa POGO at pinagbabangga-bangga na rin po yung mga listahan nila kung sino ba talaga yung nandito sa Pilipinas na foreigners, ilan ba talaga sila at nagbabayad ba sila ng tamang buwis. So yun po yung sa tax issue. Now, in terms of the money that's coming in, that was also reported by the Bureau of Customs to the Secretary of Finance. And that was reported also to the AMLA. No, so we should check with AMLA kung ano na yung actions na ginawa nila dyan. The thing that we need to realize is this is not illegal in the Philippines because Congress has not passed a law making these types of transactions illegal. All you need to do is declare. No? And then you can bring it in. So ang mga hindi nagde-declare at nahuhuli, yan po ay may mga seizure po yan, no? Ng mga pera na yan. Pero yung mga nagde-declare, they're allowed to bring it in because Congress has not made it illegal. No? So that's one thing I think that we can work on together with our legislators. The second thing is that yung pera po, gusto rin po natin i-trace kung saan napupunta at saan ginagamit. And in fact, as of 2 years ago, the Department of Finance included in the draft version of the train law the lifting of absolute bank secrecy. No, pero natanggal po ito through the legislative process. So we would like to maybe propose that again, no? That we lift absolute bank secrecy in the Philippines in cases of tax fraud or other nefarious activities para po matrace po talaga natin. Kung meron po tayong hinala na malakas, mabuksan po natin ang mga bank accounts. No? So that was also included in the draft bill for the tax amnesty. Again, it was removed in the congressional deliberations, no? Itong lifting of absolute bank secrecy. So again, we'll work with Congress to ask that these tools be included in our arsenal for addressing these challenges, no, and these problems. So yun po, no, hinahabol po natin yung mga hindi nagbabayad ng buwis. At pangalawa, we are also asking that the tools na habulin po yung mga amounts of money that have come in, these massive amounts, be also included in our toolkit for addressing these challenges. Salamat.
Just for clarification, yung dirty money ba na pumasok na sinasabi, dineclare ba yon?
Yung mga dineclare ay pumasok. Yung mga hindi dineclare ay siniz. At yung mga hindi dineclare at nahuli ay nasis po yun.
Trisha, 3 follow-ups about POGO and then mag-last 4 na tayo ha. Raymond, then Joyce. POGO ka rin ba? Okay, and then Trisha.
Kay Asig Lambino. Sir, going back sa POGO na nanganak na ng drug den, sex den, illegal entry of alleged dirty money, tapos yung pastillas scheme dahil illegal entry of those alleged workers of POGO, is it worth na i-keep panatilihin yung POGO operations vis-a-vis these social ills, social problems, economic sabotage na naging anak na ng POGO?
Well, on the part of the Department of Finance, the first thing na ginawa ay yung nalaman na hindi nagbabayad ng tamang buwis ay magbayad dapat dahil hindi po yan fair sa mga Filipino workers, Filipino businesses that pay their taxes regularly. In fact, mga wage earners po, nakakaltasan na nga po ang sweldo, no, with withholding tax. So it really was not fair na merong mga nakakatakas na hindi nagbabayad ng tamang buwis. In terms of the various things that are being investigated in the various committees in the Senate, nakikinig po ako kahapon doon sa hearing, no, ng Senado. At sabi nga po nila that they will look at all of these factors on the table and make an informed policy response, no, or put in place an informed policy response. So I think that's a very thoughtful way to go. No? Let's put everything on the table and work on policy options. We are here to provide support in terms of analysis and data that are available to our legislators.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, last 2 on POGO. Joyce and then Trisha.
Also to Asik Lambino, sir. Apo. You've mentioned that a report has been sent to AMLAC regarding the money laundering scheme, the alleged money laundering scheme. So, meron na kayo nakuhang assurance from AMLAC? Kasi sabi po ni Senator Gordon, tila tahimik ang AMLAC and parang walang ginagawa sa issue.
I'll need to get back to you on that. Let's please exchange contact so that ma-update ko po kayo.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Trisha. Trisha, microphone please.
To Asik Lambino, sir, again. Sir, I understand we're now running after POGOs na hindi nagbabayad ng taxes. But sir, we want to know why have we come to this point na is it late na nalaman natin na hindi sila nagbabayad ng taxes? And at the same time, what's your assessment of this POGO industries na are they sort of underestimating our government kaya sila tumatakas, hindi sila nagbabayad ng taxes?
Well, yung priority po talaga natin ay ma-detect yung mga hindi sumusunod sa ating mga batas. No, that was the priority when the POGO task force was formed. Because when the secretary wanted to know how many workers there were in this industry, no one could give him a straight answer because the list of the various agencies involved were not consolidated. So one of the first things he asked the task force to do was to consolidate the lists, which is the first time we had an informed estimate, no, of around 138,000 that was adjusted eventually to 120,000. There are those who, according to the Senate hearing yesterday, might even not be on that list. No? So it's longer. It's a longer list. But the point is the work was started to actually, when the task force was formed, to consolidate at pagbanggain itong mga listahan na to para alam natin kung sino yung nandito. Based on that list, we were able to determine who was not paying tax. No? And it became clear na napakarami ang hindi nagbabayad. So you need the data and the evidence in order to run after, no, these tax evaders. So yun yung proseso na ginawa. At mula noon ay nalaman na rin natin na based on these estimates, it's around 2 billion pesos, no, in withholding taxes that we should be collecting per month. As of last year, we were able to increase our collections by around 169% relative to the previous year. This year, we're already at maybe higher than that in terms of the first 2 months. Not maybe, we are higher than that in the first 2 months, but we're still improving that collection efficiency in the sector. No? Yun yung pinagmulan nito. In terms of the other issues that were raised, again, looking at it as a holistic set of challenges, and potential problems is a thoughtful way to go before we actually look at all the options that should be on the table.
So just on my second question, kasi diba they're evading tax payments. So what's your assessment of that, sir? Are they evading because they are underestimating or parang sa tingin ba nila they can just get away with it? Did DOF somehow look into their reasons as to why they're doing that?
Well, whatever the reason for evading, we will go after them. No? And if we find that they are evading with evidence, then we will close them down through the operations of the strike force of the Bureau of Internal Revenue. No? And we will continue and intensify these efforts.
Sir, among those who were pinned down, are there repeaters, mga repeated violations or tax evaders? Na kahit despite na nagbayad lang sila once, then next time hindi na naman nagbabayad. May ganong cases po ba tayo?
I'll check if that's the case. Sa tingin ko hindi, no? But we'll check to be sure. The reason being, for these types of activities, no, these online gaming activities, it's very difficult for them when they're closed down because their clients lose confidence, no, in these types of gaming services. So pag nahuli na, they're in the net, no, and that's the goal, no, to make sure that we cast that net to cover all POGOs and POGO service providers in the country.
Okay. Last two, Tuesday and then Arian.
Kay Secretary Dar, sir. Sir, kumusta po ngayon ang status ng African swine fever? Alin-aling mga lugar pa ba sa bansa ang apektado nito at alin dyan ang mga naka-lockdown pa para doon sa mga live na pork at pork products?
Okay, let me mention as of today, we have reached 1.85% called out hogs based from a 12.8 million hog inventory. So the areas the newly where outbreaks are occurring is in Camarines Sur and Naga. Now, the problem really lies now in yung spread pagkalat ng disease na ito ay nasa tao na yung problema, hindi dun sa virus mismo. Of course, virus is the one that we are trying to manage, control and contain in one area. But the situation is now being, utilized by the hog traders na binibili pa rin nila yung may sakit na from areas na apektado, kagaya dito sa Central Luzon. At hindi na rin dinadaan sa mga slaughterhouses, kinakatay na nila sa mga bahay-bahay nila. At the hog traders are even using their private vehicles to transport para hindi sila ay... Pero ang daming nasasabat, hanggat Bicol nga. Yun po ang problema natin. So, we are again requesting everyone in the hog industry, the various stakeholders, na makipagtulungan sa gobyerno at huwag na natin talagang ikalat pa by way of buying sick pigs or infected pigs at easily the ground zero for ASF in the country is Rodriguez Rizal. After 6 months, bumalik na po kami doon, wala ng signs na may ASF. Of course, in areas like that, hindi pa rin kami kontento na babalik pa sila sa hog racing at this point in time. Ayaw pa namin kasi not until everyone cooperates na wag na magtinda ng may sakit na ng baboy. So we have given in Rodriguez Rizal about 70 million worth of livelihood projects. So native chicken, goat racing, cow, lahat-lahat yun. Basta lang wag muna baboy.
Yes, sir. May estimate po ba kayo kung magkano na yung nalugi mula nung pumutok yung ASF until now?
The estimate we did and still is relevant is 1 billion pesos a year loss. So nagumpisa ng August last year yung paglabas, yung outbreak ng ASF.
Okay, thank you, Tuesday. Last question, Arian.
Kay Secretary Mon po. Hi, sir. Sir, on a different topic lang po. Sir, yung global coronavirus scare, how has this affected our export and import flows? Meron po bang specific supply chains na apektado na?
Ang specific supply chains apektado, lalo na galing China. So talagang even based on yung import figures, containers arriving, more than 1/2 ang nabawas. In other words, apektado talaga lahat ng mga nagsosource ng kanilang mga parts mula sa China, and specifically mula sa Hubei province, kung saan nagsimula yung Wuhan specifically. Outside China, ang mga report ng post namin, may mga bumabalik na, they're wanting to go back to normalcy. At ibig sabihin yung mga workers ay pinapabalik. Of course, rin sila.
Sir, anong
protektado.
areas lang po yan? Sorry, sir. Anong areas po yung sinasabi
Ito yung
niyo po?
outside Wuhan or outside Hubei. Ibig sabihin, within China, na nagba-back to normalcy yung mga ibang lugar. At nakita rin natin yung data na in China, bumaba rin yung incidence ng yung mga new carriers or new victims. Unfortunately, habang bumababa sa China, nagkaroon ngayon ng mga pagsulpot sa mga iba-ibang bansa, no? Pero ang supply chain na karamihan, maraming pinanggagalingan ay China. Kaya nga nagkaroon din ng realization around the world, even yung mga malalaking brands, yung mga iPhone at mga iba pang mga big brands, na mag-reconsider ng kanilang mga supply chain sources, yung structure nila. In other words, ngayon ay kailangan talagang nisip nila mag-diversify sila ng sources. Huwag masyadong umasad sa isang lugar or sa konting lugar. Kaya in a way, doon po pwedeng nagbe-benefit din ng Pilipinas. Dahil after that, nangyayari yan, nagkakaroon ngayon sila ng reconsideration ng Pilipinas as a site na maging supplier din tayo at nagkakaroon ng pagbukas or mga interest na nag-indicate sa amin na willing magbukas dito.
So sir, sabi niyo po dahil naapektuhan yung supply chains natin sa China, meron po ba kayong figure or kung how much yung losses because of that?
Wala pa. Kasi nung in-interview or ginather din namin yung mga manufacturers, karamihan sa kanila at that time, talking of a week or 2 weeks ago, meron pa silang mga parts. In other words, nakaka-operate pa sila. Pero sinasabi nila, ang key talaga dito ay yung kung gaano katagal magkakaroon ng ganitong problema. Kasi kung sa tingin natin, mga within this month, March, kaya pa nila. I mean, pwede natin sabihin medyo, at least for the Philippines scenario na nagre-report naman lahat nag-ooperate ang mga kumpanya ngayon dito sa atin, ay meron tayong supply, meron tayong production. Wala pa tayong na-experience na losses. But kung ito tumagal lang 6 months, hindi natin alam na mangyayari at yung impact nito, napakadaling mawala ng yung epekto ng supply chain. Mawala ka lang isang parts na galing sa isang lugar na talaga naapektuhan. You really have to look for alternative source kaagad. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-antay, mag-recover yung lugar na yon. So, yun po yung binabantayan din talaga ngayon. That's why constant din yung aming pakipag-ugnayan sa mga local manufacturers natin.
Sir, how about our exports po? Naapektuhan po ba?
Affected din siguro to in a way dun sa lalo na kung papasok ng China. Yung
But
China as a market, no? But in other countries, hindi pa ho natin masabi.
Kahit po yung ibang countries po na may coronavirus na
Hindi pa naman
confirmed
ngayon
cases.
kasi kung hindi po sila nagla-lockdown, normal pa rin ang galaw ng tao, kumakain pa din at bumibili pa din. Then hindi po natin masabing may losses na doon. Ang problema, pag nag-lockdown ang isang city, yun talagang abnormal na yung operation.
So sir, last na lang po. Do you yung exports and imports po natin, do you expect na hihina pa po siya? And until when po yung
Sayang,
estimate?
ngayon ho, actually, if you look at even the manufacturing index last Friday, ay growth pa rin yun sa atin. I mean, 53 ang index. Ibig sabihin, mas lumakas pa versus the previous month. Yung production po natin, tuloy-tuloy pa. At ang exports natin, while others are declining, surprisingly, yung sa atin din ay continuing pa rin yung pag-grow niya. Di ba? Yung huli pong ni-report natin. So, makikita natin na, as mentioned, kung globally nag-i-slow down at lalo na China, which is our number 1 trading partner, maapektuhan niya export. And syempre, may mga computation din, maapektuhan yung growth, lalo na kung malaking natamaan din ng tourism. Pero dito po sa atin, I would say may magkakaroon ng slowdown, pero hopefully positive pa rin ang growth. In other words, hindi na kasing lakas na 1.5 or 2%, paaring 1% or less than 1%. We're just hoping na maliit pa lang yung tama. Kasi if you look at the Wuhan, the Hubei province again, 1% lang of the total trade natin sa China ang Hubei province. Maliit po yung portion na yon.
So anong industry sir yung pinaka-affected po?
Sa atin
Automotive?
yung sa food basically kasi yun
Okay.
yung malaki nating ina-export. Oo,
po.
lalo na saging, banana. Sa China, ang lakas ng growth natin, mga around 10% ang growth na natin sa China at sila na ang number 2 export market din natin.
Pero wala pa rin po tayo sir estimate kung magkano yung losses because of this slowdown.
Yung sa amin, 1% po ang magiging slowdown doon sa lalo na yung trading natin with Hubei province.
Okay sir. Pero figures sir in general for the economy.
Well, NEDA released something like, I think, 0.7%. Kung magtagal, kung 1 year, 0.7 percentage points ang pwedeng, ang tama niya, lower. Oo.
Okay po.
0.7. Pero sa totoo lang, given our mga estimated 6.5%, malakas pa din yung growth ng Philippine economy. Yung iba ay nagde-decline na po, pati sa kanilang mga outputs at saka exports. Fortunately, sa atin po ay malakas pa din. In fact, dito sa mga trading economies, Philippines and Vietnam na lang ang may positive growth sa exports.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you
Arian.
po.
My apologies. Ang last po palang question, si Tricia.
Last na po talaga. To our economic managers, maybe just get your reaction on this recent study saying that bribery and corruption are on the rise for the last 2 years and it's been a cause of concern for many businesses po.
Siguro ako, immediately comment ko doon, posibleng that's based on what ba? On a survey? I haven't seen that. Pero kung ano man, I think sa baba, sinasabi, hindi pa rin natin 100% nawawala yan. But masabi natin siguro sa taas, medyo mas nakokontrol na dahil ang ating pong Pangulo talagang hindi nagdadalawang isip sa pagpapatanggal ng mga nakikitaan niyang corrupt personnel in government. Sabi niya kahit kaibigan or supporter, wala ho siyang sinasanto. Yan. Pero ganun pa man, with our ease of doing business na nag-i-improve din ngayon in terms of implementation dahil very active po ang ating anti-red tape authority at talagang aside from promoting po ang streamlining, pagbawas, yung face-to-face contact, we're trying to automate many of these services, frontline services. Si ARTA rin ay dalawa ang function kasi ni ARTA headed by DG Maybel Hica. Nagtutulong po sa streamlining para nga mabawasan yung occasion na pwedeng magkaroon ng bribery. Pangalawa, yung police work. Ibig sabihin, pagka meron pa rin hindi sumusunod or ayaw mag-streamline at ayaw pa rin padaliin yung mga proseso or nag-violate na dun sa 3-7-20 days, 3 days, 7 days, 20 days ng processing of papers, ay sila rin ay pwedeng mag-file ng mga charges at inumpisahan na rin nila yan. So yan po ay lumalaganap ngayon sa government and with that, we can only expect na lalaki pa yung ating ease of doing business ng mga efforts at accomplishments yan para mabawasan talaga yung bribery and corruption.
Okay, thank you, Tricia. Thank you, Secretary Lopez. Last words po, Secretary Dar and ASEC Zumbilya.
Pagbigyan natin ang Rice Tariffication Law, let's properly implement the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund and its components and look at every opportunity na idudulot po ng batas na ito. We will do everything possible na ang ating mga rice farmers and in general agriculture will grow to the level na dapat naman beyond the population growth rate.
Secretary Lopez.
Well, frankly, ako sa pamumuno po ni Secdar sa agriculture, malaki ho ang pag-asa natin na yung ambisyon natin na lumaas yung productivity, umanda ang kita ng mga farmers, makorek yung sistema, yung kaninang kinuwento natin cost structure para yung talagang ideal cost to produce natin, let's say per hectare, ay ma-attain natin. Yan po yung nakikita natin as the programs are getting to be implemented and may budget support and yun yung benefit ni Rice Tariffication Law aside from lowering of prices. So, masasabi ko, the best is yet to come talaga.
Okay, ASEC Zumbilya.
Sana matutulungan niyo lahat kami na magpaliwanag kung ano talaga itong RTL, ano ang kanyang na achieve na in just 1 year na pag-implement sa kanya and tulungan kaming maipaliwanag sa kung sino man medyo hindi pa nakakaintindi kung ano ang dapat niyang magawa. In that way, talagang ito ay pagtulong-tulungan natin lahat na ito ay magiging successful.
Okay, salamat po. Salamat din kay ASEC Lambino and kay ASEC Noel Reyes. Salamat MPC. Back to main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and People's Television Network.